Indianapolis, what's up? When I was a kid, I thought it was always cool how adults would say, you could be whatever you wanted to be, right? Because I believed in that, right? I believed that, right? Now I'm 32. And now I know the phrase, you can be whatever you want to be, is complete bullshit, right? You can't just be whatever you want to be, right? Like some kids want to go to the NBA. But LeBron James exists. You know what I mean? Like, you don't think he was just out there in middle school crushing people's dreams? Just destroying people's hopes, right? You can take your kid to the basketball game, in walks this 6'3", 13-year-old with a full beard and a receding hairline. That's when the coach pulls everybody together like, listen, today we gonna focus on having fun. That's what we gonna do. We're not sportsmanship and all that jazz. I don't think we taking it. And you start the game and LeBron's got a triple-double in the first 90 seconds. He's dunking from the free throw line. And you're like, what 13? We didn't sign up for this. The coach is just like, listen, some of y'all just need to get good at math. You know what I mean? Like, the National Basketball Association is not in your future. Can be whatever you want to be. I was in New York and I saw a security guard at a Barnes & Noble. You gonna tell me you can be whatever you want to be? I didn't know they had security guards at Barnes & Noble because I didn't know that life could get that sad. You know what I mean? Like, he's just standing there acting cool. Just in his own head, like, yeah, if I keep my head down, work hard, next year I'll be in the mall. Yeah. You're trying to look cool for him, man. He's got an earpiece in. An earpiece. Who are you talking to? Your failed hopes and dreams? Who are you talking to? Like, you've never had to use this. You've never needed to call for backup in a Barnes & Noble. Like, oh, send help. Send help quick. I'm pinned down in the self-help section. This shit is serious. Send help to the self-help section. These books ain't working. When I was a kid, I wanted to be a rapper. You know, that was my dream. And I'm 32 now, and I still like hip-hop a lot. But I feel like as an older man, I'm getting phased out of an entire music genre, you know what I mean? Because it's made for kids, it's not made for me anymore. But I don't want to be the old curmudgeon dude that talks down to kids for liking a certain type of music, you know what I mean? Like, I hated that when I was a kid. People will say, oh, you listen to rap? You listen to hip hop? It's terrible. It's garbage. All they talk about is partying with money, women, and fast cars. Yet The Great Gatsby is required reading. It's a book about partying with money, women, and fast cars. Kendrick Lamar could have knocked out a synopsis of The Great Gatsby over a dope beat, and you would have only lost 4 minutes of your day. Do you understand? Sit down, be humble, hypocrite, and bitch, don't kill my vibe, Daisy. You don't think more kids would read if Cardi B read The Scarlet Letter? You know what I mean? Like, oh shit, this book is lit. I don't know what she's saying, but this book is lit. I can't understand the words she's saying. So I thank you, Indianapolis, for allowing me for one more night to live my dream, because stand-up comedy is that for me, and it doesn't happen without nights like this. So I appreciate you coming out. Thank you so much. Man, I've been performing for a while, and I perform a lot in the Midwest, which is weird, right? It's just odd. And this is why I do independent shows a lot, because I got tired of the club scene, because comedy bookers have this weird math equation that they do, where it's just like, black guy, comedy show. And it's not always a good fit, right? Because you can't just book us all together, but not the same type of comic, right? People want different things. Like, I get booked with people sometimes, and they're just like, you see, there's a difference between real niggas and bitch niggas. And then I get up there, I'm like, well, this is why I'm depressed. Let's lean into it, guys. Let's lean in. Then the audience is confused. They're like, that's a bitch-ass nigga right there. We didn't pay for this. Pay to see this. Love it, man. Lived in Indiana for a long time. Dated a lot of white women because that's what's readily available here. Look to your left, look to your right. You guys know the... So I'll tell you guys a story. I was seeing this girl named Lauren a couple years ago, right? Lauren came over to my place and spent the night for the first time, right? And in my room, I have books on a bookshelf. Lauren looks at the books on the bookshelf and she goes, so like, who is Malcolm X? That's the end of Lauren and I's story. Do you understand? That is the end of our journey. There are reading requirements to be in this relationship, and you have failed the prerequisites. You know what I mean? I can't bring Lauren home to my granddad. My granddad fought in the civil rights movement. He raised my father in the civil rights movie. Walk to my granddad's house. There's a picture of Malcolm X prominent as soon as you walk in. I can't bring Lauren home. She'd be like, oh, I love Denzel Washington, and that's how you get a whooping. Do you understand? That's Granddad have Lauren out there picking a switch from the oak tree. Granddad, why are you doing this? Got to know your history, man. It's been a great year for black cinema. Corey was up here talking about Black Panther. I fucking love Black Panther. My favorite movie of last year. I liked Black Panther until Michael B. Jordan took his shirt off. It just puts a lot of pressure on a brother. You understand? It's very demoralizing to hear an entire theater full of people go, ooh. Couples getting in arguments in the parking lot, right? It's just like, why don't you tell Michael B. Jordan to fix the modem next time you got a problem with it? You tell him to buy your popcorn, right? I could have had muscles, but I decided to raise this family. It's like, this movie is tearing people apart. This is ridiculous. There was a white dude that got kicked out of my theater for talking too loud. and I got happy. Because sometimes you got to take reparations in any form they come in, right? It's something we got to do as human beings. My favorite show for the last 2 years, it's a series on Netflix called Luke Cage. It's also a superhero, black superhero, big, burly, black dude walking around saving the day, right? Who doesn't love that? Just like the Hulk without CGI. This man's amazing. Just big, burly, black, like, Luke Cage must be what police officers see. Listen. Like, I had to. Did you see his lats? He was resisting. Love Luke Cage, man. I like Luke Cage because he goes home with all these sexy ladies, but he's super cheesy in the bedroom. But it works for some reason. Like, he's super cheesy, but he goes home and he'll just be taking his shirt off and be like, Merry Christmas. He'd be like, what month is it? Talking about Merry Christmas for, but it works. And I'm like, I want that in my life, right? Like, the sexiest thing I've ever said to a woman in the bedroom is, yeah. And she was like, I didn't say anything. And so I just panicked and said it louder. I was like, yeah. And she was like, okay, I think I'm going to leave now. I was like, that's probably for the best. I'm going to sit here and evaluate why I turn into the Kool-Aid man during sex. Yeah, what is that? Nobody wants to make love to a light-skinned shaft. You know what I mean? It's 2018. Nobody wants to hear that. Like, yeah, you about to get mop, stopped, and scallywop, you jive turkey. Know what kind of dudes you've been messing around with. But I'm about to knock them boots. Nobody wants to hear. What is it? Yeah, you can't say that to people. It works for Luke Cage. I'm jealous of that.